Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Physician, Finances, and Investing. I'm Joe, a resident physician, and you know what time it is. Let's talk about how to get that bread. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In our last video, we spent some time talking about the 4 steps that I personally recommend whenever it comes to saving for retirement. In case you missed that video, I'll put a link to it right up here. In some of my previous videos, I spent some time talking about how much I love the Roth IRA. After those videos, I've been getting a lot of comments from subscribers asking questions about the Roth IRA. So I thought, what better topic for my next video than to spend some time talking about the 5 most important things that I think everyone needs to know about the Roth IRA. Doc, who you kidding? Ain't nobody asking you questions. Yeah, you're right, Average Joe. But I'm going to talk about it anyway. So with all of that being said, let's jump right into it. The first thing that everyone needs to know about the Roth IRA is what the current contribution limit is for each year. As of 2020, you are allowed to contribute $6,000 per year to your Roth IRA account, unless you're over the age of 50, in which case you're allowed to contribute an additional $1,000 per year, bringing your total contribution limit to $7,000. Now, many of you may already know this, and that's great. But one area that I've seen people get confused about is what happens if they have multiple Roth IRAs. Let's say, for example, you have a Roth IRA with your bank and you choose to contribute $3,000 to that account. But then you decide that you want to open up a Roth IRA with a brokerage firm so that you can contribute your funds into a more aggressive asset allocation. Does that mean that you're able to contribute an additional $6,000 to that Roth IRA account? The answer is no. You're only allowed to contribute $6,000 in total. So whether that means you want to put that money into one Roth IRA account or spread it across multiple accounts, you are only allowed to contribute $6,000 for the current year. Alright, Doc. I get it. Stop beating a dead horse. Alright, Average Joe. We'll move on. The second thing that I think everyone needs to know about the Roth IRA is that you can do it for the wife and kids. There are certain exceptions where you can contribute more than $6,000 per year if you meet certain criteria. And that criteria is that you have a spouse. Even if your spouse isn't working, as long as you have earned income, essentially W-2 wages showing the IRS that you made some money, then as long as you made at least $12,000 per year, man, I hope you made at least $12,000 per year, because even if you have a spouse, I don't think they're going to be with you that long. Aw, man. So as long as you made at least $12,000 per year, then you'll be able to contribute $6,000 to your Roth IRA and then be able to open what's called a Spousal IRA to contribute an additional $6,000 for your spouse. Now, this only counts if it's your spouse. You can't do this for your boyfriend, you can't do this for your girlfriend, you can't do this for your fiance. So like Beyonce said, you should have put a ring on it. Another amazing thing that you can do if you have kids and they have earned income is open up what's called a custodial Roth IRA. Basically, a Roth IRA for your kids. Now, like I said, this has to be earned income. This can't be money that they made from babysitting. It can't be money that they made from mowing the lawn. It has to be money that they made from a job that was reported to the IRS as earned income for the year. Technically, this isn't going to help you out, but it is going to help out your children in that you can have a ton of tax-free money waiting for them whenever they get started in their adult lives. You'll be parent of the century if you're able to do something like that. Now let's move on to point number 3, getting phased out. Now, I'm not talking about getting phased out of your career. Essentially, what the IRS is saying here is that once you reach a certain threshold for your income for the year, you can no longer contribute to a Roth IRA. Once you have hashtag rich people problems, you can no longer play with the Roth IRA.
I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second.
So what are those limits? Well, If you're single and you make more than $139,000 per year, or if you're married filing jointly and you make more than $206,000 per year, then you can no longer contribute to a Roth IRA directly. Like most things in life, however, there are a couple ways to get around this. The first way to get around this, which is actually pretty simple, is by contributing pre-tax funds to your employer-sponsored 401k account. By definition, pre-tax contributions are tax deductible, which ultimately means that they will decrease your modified adjusted gross income. So for example, let's say that you're single and you're making $139,000 per year, but you decide to contribute $10,000 to your employer-sponsored 401k account in a pre-tax manner. Well, guess what? Now you can also contribute to a Roth IRA because you just decreased your modified adjusted gross income for the year. Now, the second way that you can still contribute to a Roth IRA if you have #rich people problems is by doing what's called a backdoor Roth IRA. Basically, what you're doing in this circumstance is opening a traditional IRA, not taking a tax deduction for the year, and then converting those funds into a Roth IRA. This is a very broad overview, and there are some tax complications that could potentially arise if you're trying to contribute to a Roth IRA in this manner. So, if you fall in this scenario, then I highly encourage you to do some more research before trying to contribute to a Roth IRA via a backdoor method. Let's move on to talk about point number 4, contributions, or basically the money that you're contributing to the Roth IRA account. This is a point that I'm usually pretty hesitant to tell people about because I fear that they may look at it as a get out of jail free card and take money from the Roth at any point that they want. But I do feel that many people tend to not know this about the Roth, and it's one of the reasons why I love the Roth IRA so much. So anytime that you put money in, all of the money that you put in, you have access to at any time. This is a point that's so important that I'm going to say it again. Yes, anytime you contribute money to a Roth IRA, you can withdraw those contributions at any point in time. It's the earnings that have to stay in your account until retirement, or at least until you're the age 59 and a half. So for example, if you contribute $6,000 to your Roth IRA and it grows to be $7,000, you can still withdraw that $6,000 at any point in time. It's that additional $1,000 that has to stay in your account until retirement. Now there is one stipulation to this. Let's say you put $6,000 in, but you put it into a really bad investment and its value gets cut in half. Well, you can't take out that $6,000 anymore because it's not worth $6,000. You can only pull out what the investment is still currently worth. So with all of that being said, I love the Roth IRA since it gives me some versatility in the timing that I have available to access my funds. For example, let's say that you didn't take my advice and have an emergency fund set up. If you don't have an emergency fund, I talked about the importance of having one in a previous video, and I'll put the link to that right up here. Before you're doing any investing, you need to make sure that you have an emergency fund. So let's say that you have an emergency and you do not have enough money in your savings account and do not have an emergency fund available to cover that expense. Well, if you have a Roth IRA, you would be able to pull the money out of this account in order to help cover those expenses. Personally, I would only ever, and I repeat ever, consider withdrawing money from my Roth IRA if I had an emergency where my emergency fund was not enough money to cover that expense. But do yourself a favor, if you don't have an emergency fund already, please make that a priority. Let's move on to the 5th and final point. How and what do you invest inside of the Roth IRA? One thing that you need to remember is that the Roth IRA is an investment vehicle. It's not the investment itself. You ultimately get to decide what investments go inside of your Roth IRA. This is where your asset allocation comes into play. So, let's say that you want to invest in individual stocks. You can. Let's say that you want to put your money into a more conservative option, such as an exchange-traded fund or an ETF. You can do that as well. But there are exceptions to this. Let's say, for example, you decide to open your Roth IRA with a local credit union or with a small regional bank. In my experience, these smaller institutions tend to not offer as wide a breadth of investment options as some larger institutions might. So for example, you might be limited to things such as money markets, CDs, or even things such as a savings account. And as you know, savings accounts are basically paying next to nothing right now. Now, the only reason that I bring this point up is to encourage you to look into the different options that you have available to you before you make the decision to officially open a Roth IRA. Many people that I know like to use Vanguard because of the low fees that they offer. Personally, I like to use Fidelity. It doesn't matter which option you choose to use for your Roth IRA, but just make sure that you do your research before you officially open up an account to make sure that you have the options available to you that you would like to have. The information that I provided in this video was not all inclusive. My goal of making this video was to provide you guys with some high yield information that I think that absolutely everybody needs to know before they consider opening a Roth IRA. As a reminder, I'm not a certified financial planner. I'm a resident physician who recognizes the importance of taking an active role in managing your finances and wanted to encourage others to do the same. With that being said, I encourage you to do your own research before making any financial decisions. That concludes another episode of Physician Finances and Investing. I hope that you guys found this video both fun and informative. If you have any questions or would like me to talk about a particular topic in a future video, please feel free to comment below and I'll be sure to get that information to you guys. And if you haven't already, please smash that like button and click on that subscribe button to let me know that you like what we're doing here at Physician Finances and Investing and to help support my channel. Thanks everyone and have a great day.